Hello, everybody out there in YouTube. We are middle-aged guys, and we are going to go ahead and cover some straight-up fanboy bullshit and talk about sales numbers. I'm the Reverend.
The theme here.
And I'm Grey Mouse 1.
What sort of fanboy bullshit numbers am I going to talk about? I'm going to talk about the numbers for, no, not the controller, not for the PS4 controller, but the PS4 console. See, my actual console is in the living room with the wife, and she's binge watching a show on Netflix right now, so I'm not going to step in front of her. All right. But the PS4 console has reported earlier this month, actually on the first week of December, that as of the end of November, that they have sold approximately 70.6 million PlayStation 4 consoles worldwide. Okay, this includes the original one, this includes the Slim, this includes the Pro, you know, to go ahead and put that in perspective. Well, I wish we had Xbox One X numbers to go, Xbox One numbers to go ahead and compare with, but they haven't disclosed numbers since 2012. All right. But most of the estimates put their sold total at around 30 million worldwide as of the end of August. All right. Even if the numbers are slightly off, yeah, that's a huge disparity there. But the thing about the PS4 right now is that they are estimating that if it continues to sell at the rate that it's selling, especially considering that this console's already been out, what, like 3 years, all right, going on 4 years pretty soon, okay, 3 years, 70 million consoles. They're saying that if this console sticks around as long as a PlayStation 2 stuck around, that it is going to exceed the number of PlayStation 2 consoles sold worldwide, which estimates at over 155 million worldwide. So, yeah. That right there might actually happen. What do you guys think about all of this?
I've been saying it's pretty much already halfway there.
Yeah, it's pretty much halfway there.
And this console it's only been out for a little bit over 3 years. But I think as far as sales, I think it is starting to slow down a bit, even though that is still an impressive number. Considering what we thought a debacle that this console generation was actually going to be.
Actually, what's funny is that the actual number of PlayStation units that have been sold over the last few months have actually been higher than normal. Okay, I think the one thing that still stays at a point where it's quite a bit of a measurable disappointment is that PlayStation VR hasn't taken off the way that they were hoping it to take off. I believe, last year they were estimating that they were going to sell like 8 million units or 6 million PlayStation VR units. Just recently they broke the 2 million units sold as far as what has been reported. So right now, not so... the whole thing with VR, that really hasn't taken off the way that they were hoping it to, all right? But let's just be honest. VR hasn't taken off for anybody like they've hoped it will. But for the PlayStation 4 itself, still going strong. And considering that this particular year's lineup of games has been rather consistent, not just, completely... rear-loaded and heavy around the holiday shopping season, which has been the last few months, but has been pretty consistent throughout, like, ever since January all the way through. Yeah, this has been a busy fucking year for Sony, at least for their PlayStation one, Grey Mouse, what do you think about it? What do you think about it, Grey Mouse? I know we kind of cut you off at the end there.
No. Is there any surprise that Sony has sold 70 million PlayStation 4s? To me, it's not. I mean, in stark contrast of the Xbox One X, there hasn't been any games on the Xbox. So, like you just mentioned a few seconds ago, PlayStation 4, their games, they've come out with a game consistently, good games, not just filler games, and places, games that you can't play anywhere but on the Sony PlayStation.
Yep.
And that definitely is a driving force of Sony's success in this generation. It just let's just be serious. Let's just be honest here. You know.
Well, considering last generation that Sony came in what, third?
No, I think it was second. But I think at the very end,
behind the 360, it was ahead of the 360.
Well, see, the thing is, though, a lot of people forget that the 360 had hardware problems, and many people had to buy 360s over again. So, I mean, some people have. I know people that have bought 3 or 4 Xbox 360s, and that does count for for machines sold. So
you're absolutely correct.
I do think Sony caught up to Microsoft in last generation.
But then there's always the Japan sales.
Yeah. But this video is not about a comparison between Microsoft and Sony. This is very impressive. 70 million units sold to customers, not shipped. This is sold. Like Microsoft likes to say, this is sold through to the customer. There are 70 million of these things sitting underneath people's TVs worldwide.
Whether they be gold or black.
Whether they be gold, black, white, purple, pink, orange, it doesn't matter.
They should have those colors in the United States. Damn it, they got them in Japan.
Yeah. And that's impressive. I mean, like you said, 3.5 years or so, 70 million.
No, it just passed the 3-year mark. They just had its 3-year anniversary last month.
Yep. And
so 70 million in 3 years. That's crazy. Yeah. They're going to beat PlayStation 2 easily.
If they continue to sell.
Yep. I mean, as far as it goes, like you said, it's pretty much. Let's see here. They're pretty much riding the strength of the games that are being released out.
Exactly.
You know, a lot of not so many. What's that? Not so many. Not so much like, you know, a huge number of AAA games or stuff like that, but it's a huge number of titles that you can only play on the Sony PlayStation that's put out there, because, you know, apples to oranges when it comes to power consoles and everything else. There's no denying the most powerful console out there right now is the Xbox One X. Okay, unfortunately, that doesn't automatically translate to being a more popular console.
Nope.
If, you know, everybody else is still playing on something else.
Yep.
You know. Yeah, I mean, we've got. Let's see here. For October, let's see here. We had games come out like let's see here. Middle Earth, Shadow of War, The Evil Within 2, Gran Turismo Sport, you know, South Park, The Fractured But Whole. I know that a lot of these are
multi-plats.
Yeah, a lot of these are multi-plats, but the thing is that when you're sitting there, you're looking at it. When you have that many people actually playing these, with a lot of these multi-plat games, especially when it comes to a multiplayer environment, then yeah, when you're just taking the console space, the PS4 is going to have a larger multiplayer environment. That's just how it goes. Okay, yeah, stuff like Wolfenstein and other things. But, you know, if we look at earlier titles that have just been PS4 exclusive, like Neo, Gravity Rush 2, what else?
Uncharted Lost Legacy.
Yeah, there's been quite a few. Yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn, which has just got brand new DLC and everything else. You know, there's a lot of things that are out there. A lot of reasons why people want to go ahead and get a hold of that particular console.
You know what would be interesting is
what's up?
If we actually knew what the accounts were, how many accounts are, you know, on PlayStation Network. I'm not talking about ones that came over from PlayStation 3 era. I'm talking about like new PlayStation 4 accounts that that are actually that's where they came in on the to the PlayStation Network is through the PlayStation 4. I'm just I wonder what the attachment rate for new accounts for this generation. I'm sure it's pretty high.
That's going to be kind of skewed. That's going to be kind of skewed because the thing is that you could have multiple accounts in the same household, and that's really, that's really gonna be kind of
$6 per account, though. I mean, you could still say that.
Yeah, $6 per account if you worry about like multiplayer and stuff like that. So, I mean, there are a lot of folks who like when it comes to that, you're not going to have multiple PlayStation Plus accounts on the same machine. All right, generally speaking, but that is something interesting to go ahead and think about. But I don't know if that really creates the most accurate picture for the amount of users that we have.
Well, then maybe a better analogy would be I wonder how many people came from Xbox to the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
That's probably where they got a lot of their fans. I'm just saying.
Yeah. It's quite possible that's the case. I know when
at the beginning, 2013, motherfuckers did say, "Fuck these motherfuckers! I'm taking my money to Sony."
Yeah, a lot of people did jump ship back then. So that was what I was about to say. But let's just step away from Sony for a little bit. They're not the only ones who are celebrating a landmark sales number at this moment in time. It was actually just about a week ago that the sales numbers came out for this particular little machine. All right, and it turns out that it was kind of funny. Before the Switch was released out at the beginning of this year, Nintendo was saying that they were hoping to ship between 7 to 8 million units, all right, within the first year. They were hoping to ship that much, all right? The numbers will finally come out, and as of December 12th, Nintendo, the Switch has officially broken 10 million units sold within 9 months, okay? This thing hasn't been out more than 9 months, pretty much. Okay, and it's already sold 10 million units. They are expecting that by the time March rolls around and that it is finished 1 full year out on the market, that they're probably going to have sold a total projected of 13 million Switch units worldwide. That is rather significant, okay? How significant? Let me give you two things to compare it to, all right? The PS4, which we talked about, which is actually Sony's fastest selling console right now, it took them 10 months to sell 10 million units, all right? And Sony, unlike Nintendo, doesn't artificially create scarcity and hold back their fucking production, all right? If you believe that line of bullshit, okay? Sony has always had like their whole production line and everything behind them, so they've never had to worry about any sort of like production or inventory shortage or anything like that, okay? Or if they did, nobody said shit about it in comparison to the Switch during its first 3 months it was out, all right? That's number one. Number two, second figure to go ahead and see why this is important, if they do end up selling 13 million within 1 year. The Wii U, during its whole time that it was out, only sold an estimate 13.6 million units worldwide. That's it.
For 4 years, right?
Yeah, about 4 or 5 years. Yeah. All right. And I'll admit, I just picked one up. All right, fully refurbished from Nintendo. All right, okay. But yeah, I'm not part of that number. Okay. But yeah, obviously this has been like Nintendo's little wonderful machine that could. So much so that Time Magazine has actually named it the #1 new gadget of 2017. All right. Beating out the majority of the smartphones and everything else that are out there. What's funny is that in the same list, they actually mentioned the Super Nintendo Classic Edition also. So yeah, it's silly. Okay. But yeah, now, okay, before I move on to why that's important, guys, what are your thoughts on the Nintendo breaking 10 million units sold?
Let's okay, first things first. Nintendo right now has 3 things that are on high demand as far as video game consoles. The NES Classic, the SNES Classic, and the Nintendo Switch. We're not even done with Christmas time yet as far as when we're recording this video. Damn it, if the Switch isn't going to sell at least 1 million more units by the time of December 25th, then the after Christmas sales, and then leading up to March, when they're going to be releasing like certain games that people are craving for, fuck, dude. The estimates, the Switch could surpass what they estimate. So as far as yeah, the gadget of the year, don't blame that. Gray Mouse, what are your initial thoughts?
I'm not surprised at all. I mean, I pretty much, I mean, I bought one of these day one. I had mine pre-ordered before.
You
I'm just saying.
Accidentally bought the Switch.
No, that wasn't him. That was me. I accidentally bought it. All right.
It accidentally, yeah, I was like, accidentally came in the mail. Don't know how that happened.
I mean, we were all lucky to get this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to get a Switch. I will. I'm just waiting. I'm just biding my time. Because when I like to get a console, I like to get a handful of games with it. But it's not like I've ever said no. Fuck, I want to play Mario Odyssey. I want to play that 4-player Kirby. I want to play Metroid Prime 4 when that finally releases. All of that shit will belong to the theme at the right fucking time.
I mean, I think that I think this thing hit it off pretty well because of a certain game. But I'm just saying, I mean, it pretty much sold. People bought it just for that particular game.
It didn't sell the Wii U.
And they saw what the lineup was afterwards. It wasn't just. Well,
yeah, let's be completely honest. All right, look, okay, when this was first announced out and the specs were first announced, all right, many people, many fans in the know, knowledgeable fans, guys who know their shit, okay, were saying it's an underpowered piece of plastic shit. Why the fuck am I going to be concerned about a 720p screen in 2017? All right, when I can be giving 4K, bitches, 4K, all right. Look, okay, good luck lugging around your 70-inch 4K, you know, when you're sitting there, I don't know, waiting in the line, waiting for the bus, when you're taking a train ride, or you're on a fucking plane, all right, with stuff like that. The other reason, you know, not only did Nintendo like approach their newest console with a different concept in mind, all right, but they also made sure that when they were handling this during the first year, that they weren't going to do what they did with the Wii U, all right? They were going to make sure that it was supported fully, all right, with great titles all throughout the whole fucking time this thing was out, okay? Like Grey Mouse said, you had Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, okay? 2 months later, you had Mario Kart 8. Then you had Splatoon 2. You also had ARMS.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Mario Odyssey just came out, okay? Third-party games in between have been, you know, going out of the way, and they've been releasing stuff. Mario Rabbids, okay? Skyrim came out. All you motherfuckers who were saying that it was a hoax, and no, that wasn't the case. Nintendo just bribed them with money. They haven't licensed shit out. That came out. 2K18 came out, although admittedly that game is a piece of shit on the Switch. So is WWE 2K18, so 2K doesn't exactly have a good track record with their ports for the Switch. So you guys got to keep that in mind. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, they have that, and they have a whole bunch of games. Xenoblade Chronicles just came out. A shitload of significant DLC for Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild has been released, all right?
Yeah, Doom.
Yeah, Doom is out. Freaking
Bomberman, Street Fighter.
Yeah, there's all these games that are out there that people were willing to play, okay? And here is the scary thing about this, okay? 10 million of these sold. That means there is a big purpose and there's a big reason for third-party publishers to go out there and jump on this train to sit there and make more games for this, all right?
Yep.
Not only that, but the way that this is being marketed and the way that a lot of analysts are looking at this, unlike consoles where you have it's either the PlayStation 4 or either the Xbox One X, on average, for an average consumer, for a casual consumer, okay, you're going to be either or, okay, where it's one console per household and stuff like that. Us guys here in this particular video, we're not the average consumer, so that obviously doesn't apply to us. And probably you, if you're seriously watching this video all the way up until this point, okay, you're probably not your average gamer, so that probably doesn't apply to you. But they're saying that for the average consumer that'll have like one major console underneath their TV, for the average consumer, this is a mobile device. So it's going to be very easy to picture multiple people within the house owning their own Switch.
Yep.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, they already sell the docks separately.
Yeah. So, I mean, and the thing is that, people are like, oh, it's a novelty thing, the whole docking thing. But, when they found out that almost 60% of the people, preferred, the handheld mode over the dock mode when they're actually playing their Switches, because guess what? They actually use it the way that Nintendo thought they would. Yeah, it's kind of important,
It's funny because it's that you mentioned that Gray Mouse had brought his Switch over to my house, and he set it down. He set the kickstand on it, and with his Pro controller, I was playing Street Fighter on it. I'm like, okay, we're done here. If you can play games that way, then fuck that.
Look, you could put this thing. It's big enough to where you can see the screen, and it's small enough where you could throw this in your backpack, throw a couple games in there, and go.
Yeah.
Even in your backpack, it won't crack or break.
Just don't sit on it. I wouldn't bet on that, okay? But I wouldn't bet on that no matter what fucking device it is.
No.
Just to be completely honest, all right?
It's really amazing, and to us, like you just mentioned, we're not your normal consumers, obviously, but to us, we knew this was going to happen from the word go. As soon as Nintendo threw out the design, and we knew automatically this was going to pretty much be a success.
Well, the thing about it was we just needed to be reassured about games, and they
that whole list that Nintendo did, that picture of all the third-party support and all the support, that was it for me.
They can have that as long as they want, but they went and laid out proof.
Yeah.
Game.
Oh, you want another game?
3 fucking months, there were either announcements, because think about it, from March to that May was the launch and E3. They released games and then they announced shit, and it was over then.
Yeah, I mean the Nintendo eShop for the Switch started out with something like 46 titles, and then every week there was like another 3 to 4 titles that was being dropped on the eShop. Well, okay, that's probably a large estimate. Like there was a new title always showing up every fucking week. Okay. So much so that I think there's over almost 200 titles on the eShop. Okay. So that's not something, intrinsically that we can go ahead and we can see, or something that was marketed out like someplace like in GameStop or something that you'd see commercials for. All right. But generally speaking, why did this work? Okay. There was, look, people can go out of their way and say that, the only reason why people got a hold of the Switch was nostalgia. What? Bullshit. Not at this rate. Not at this rate. You cannot say that at this rate. Okay. You cannot say that at this rate. Okay. and the reason why it will be able to carry more success going further, all right, is that unlike the other companies, unlike Sony and Microsoft, who are deadlocked in a fucking hardware, arms race, and the only thing they could do is to up the specs, all right, increase the numbers, do all those things that that geek fanboys go ahead and drool over. Okay, that really don't mean anything in real life majority of the time. All right, they said, look, we're gonna go ahead and, like they always do, okay, we are going to give the gamer a new way to experience what they do. Okay, granted, not completely unique as far as portable or being a console device, but look, when it comes to being able to sit there and just pick up and go and play whatever the fuck you're continuing on the road, they made that possible. Okay, and then they backed it up with a lot of good games.
One thing that we're forgetting to add too is like indie games galore on this thing.
I mentioned eShop games.
No, I know, but indie shop, all this, it's crazy on what stuff you can find on this thing.
And let's not forget the peripherals, the controllers, the arcade sticks that are compatible for it at this point in time.
But again, the only reason why those peripherals and those arcade sticks and stuff would show up is that if those manufacturers know that there's enough of these consoles out on the market, enough of the games that are going to be out there demanding that sort of thing, which thankfully with this particular project, it looks like that's going to be the case going forward, especially. All right. Right now, the Nintendo Switch, if it keeps pace, the same pace that it has now, it is set to outsell the Nintendo Wii.
Damn.
All right. If it's out on the market the same number of years that the Wii was out, it's going to outsell the Wii. Okay. Especially, like I said, if people are starting to think that, hey, look, this is something that we can have multiple of these at the house. All right. That's definitely a very stark possibility that it's going to happen.
The thing about it is, too, especially with games, Nintendo hasn't even brought out certain weapons yet on this console.
And they're soon to be coming.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're soon to be coming.
As soon as something like Smash arrives,
Nintendo just proves it over and over again that they got the power.
And they're re-releasing the NES and SNES classics.
Yep.
So,
and, small. I mean, everybody was like, "Oh, this is underpowered." Power don't mean shit. This just proves it.
Yeah, it's powerful enough to be able to go ahead and give you a unique enough game experience.
It's powerful enough to make a game of the year candidate.
Two candidates, and actually win game of the year on one of them. So, yeah.
Where a Pro and an X could not.
Yeah. But I don't want to go ahead and beat that dead horse anymore. All right. We're going to go ahead and wrap this one up, folks. What do you think about, like, the news has come out? Sony PlayStation 4, 70 million units sold. How it compares to the Xbox One, we don't know because Microsoft doesn't release numbers. But even at that case, we got the Nintendo Switch, exceeding expectations, all expectations actually, and selling 10 million units in less than 9 months. That's going to open up the doors for a lot of support, a lot of third-party support, which people are saying we're still worried about up until this point. And to be honest, yeah, that was a really valid thing to be worried about too. But they keep on selling these consoles at the rate that they're doing. Like I said, they may even exceed the number of Wii's sold, during the same time. You're definitely going to see a lot of third-party support for it, right? But we really want to know what your thoughts are on that. You can tell us by leaving us a comment below. If you don't mind, mash on that like button. I think this is one of our better videos, even though, yeah, we were kind of snarky at certain points. But, you know, that's the position you land in when you've supported something from the beginning and it actually succeeds. So, and if you like this particular video, you want to stick around, see more videos like it, whether it be all of us together or us by ourselves in our individual channels, I do suggest you hit subscribe and turn on those notifications. You'll know whenever we drop out a new video. With that, all of our bullshit on the PS4 and Switch selling numbers, sold console numbers, 70 million and 10 million consoles respectively, ends right here. I am the Reverend.
The theme here.
And I'm Gray Mouse 1.
Once again, for the benefits of common sense, logic, and gaming. Credits.